Hello and welcome to episode 4 of Summa Sales School. Today we have Chuck Thokey from Top Rep, and he's going to teach us how to dominate retail roofing sales. I'm sure you guys have seen all the buzz about Top Rep, and Chuck's going to kind of share some information at the end of the episode on how you guys can get connected if you want to send your salespeople there. People are getting such amazing training there. But hey, Chuck, man, how we doing?
Man, I'm doing fantastic. We're coming right out of the holidays. We already have our year planned out, so it's going to be an enormous 2022. We already know it.
Oh yeah. Big things ahead for sure. You're kind of considered the king of retail roofing sales in this space, man. How did you start to get that title? What's your background that you were able to get that?
Actually, my background's in aerospace engineering, so it's hard to actually say that. But the long story short is I came into a company called Bath Fitter,
Yeah.
and really did a lot with Bath Fitter. And once Bath Fitter grew to where you see it today, which is very large, got into a company called Able Roof and Mr. Roof, and learned a lot there. And we actually took that company to where it's the largest residential roofing company in the United States.
Wow.
So not only able to take Bath Fitter to be the top bathroom remodeling company, but now the largest roofing remodeling company.
Which is pretty unbelievable. You got to think about how many, companies there are in the space, right? That is a huge accomplishment. When you were on that journey, right? Obviously you had a big part of it and you had a great team around you and stuff like that. Was there certain moments that you're like, this is why we're doing as good as we're doing? We're doing something right here, and this is why it's working.
Yeah. So when we look at, and it's no different from those organizations where, for me, it was a lot of trial and error and getting in with some great mentors, some of the best mentors in the industry. But it was now, or it is now, where I know exactly when I go into an organization, whether it's Bullet Roof starting at 3 million, within 2 years we are at 18 million.
Yeah.
When you're talking even American Weather Tech, within 6 months we are from 7 million to 14 million.
Jeez.
So a lot of these companies that we go into, we know exactly what needs to happen. I know a lot of the red flags when I go in, whether it's just talking to the sales manager, talking to the owner, understanding, saying, hey, this is the reason you're not growing. One of the biggest reasons why people don't grow is cross training. They think that cross training is a fabulous idea. We can get away with doing twice as much with half the people. And just understand that person you're cross training, they're only good at one of those things that you want them to do. The other one,
So,
right?
right?
Do it, and that's about it.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, so from your time now in sales consulting, have you noticed some, similarities between companies that are really thriving, like with thriving sales teams, versus those who kind of struggle?
Well, when we get into the companies that truly understand what they're doing, how they're doing it, and where that success lies, a lot of it is quite simply an accountability and discipline.
Yeah.
The holding the sales manager accountable, holding the sales reps accountable, holding the production staff accountable, phone room accountable, your marketing manager, whatever, that they have a mission. We don't like to say that they have job descriptions. We like to say they have a mission, because everybody loves to go on a mission, but nobody wants to do their job. And so, if they have a clear-cut mission of what's expected of them, and then they're held accountable to that mission, that's where the success comes in. But the systems itself, that's truly where the success comes in. People will ask, how can you turn a company so quickly? And again, it's nothing more than putting the systems in place. I can't make more leads come through the front door. People don't come to me and say, hey, Chuck, how can I get more leads? But they will come to me and say, hey, I got all these leads. What do I do with them? And we will take them from like a 20% close to a 60 or 20 to 50, depending on their team. But, the systems inside of your training, your systems inside of how it's actually shown to the homeowner, So there's so many different things that when we come in, that especially those folks that come to top rep, and I'm not trying to jump into a shameless plug here, but a lot of these folks that went to top rep, they don't really, they love it. They go back and they start to put it into play, but it's about that time of about a month to a month and a half when that light bulb comes off or comes on, and that either that sales rep, that owner, or that sales manager was like, now I know what Chuck and Jim were talking about. And the level of success because of the system that they put in place is tenfold.
So you mentioned, to be able to take close rates from 20 to 60%. And one thing I want to highlight on that, sometimes it's not always about trying to generate more leads for your business, right? Sometimes it's about doing a better job with those leads, right? And building out those systems and processes to be more effective, right?
Right.
So what should a business owner, right? So if we're in the business owner's shoes, right, and we're trying to grow our sales team, we're trying to hit our goals, what should a business owner look for when hiring a salesperson?
I'm glad you mentioned this one. Two of my calls this morning were wrapped around this. And what I want you to look at is their avatar. Everybody should have a sales rep avatar. What are you looking for? Most people, they throw an ad out on Indeed or any of these other online places, and they'll take whatever walks through their front door. And it's like these people, when they're looking for a girlfriend or boyfriend, like, yeah, they're good enough. They'll fill the
They're good enough. Yeah, this will work for now.
I've looked at a lot of sales guys. I'm like, yeah, he's Mr. Right Now. But you have to have that avatar. So the ego. What type of ego are you looking for? The work ethic. Even though on work ethic, we wait for them to go through training so that we can understand what their work ethic is.
Yeah.
And we can get into that here in a second. But their confidence, the humility, and most of all, integrity. Yep. And this is all based on questions that can be asked and assessments that can be given. Now, when you hire somebody, the best tool, I don't care what anybody says, I'm sure there's a lot of really cool assessments, and I do love a lot of the assessments. I don't hire or fire based on them. It's just good information based on someone that I'd like to bring in. No one should ever not hire somebody because of an assessment, because most assessments are very in the moment. So if you give somebody like tomorrow or today, if you were to give me a disc assessment and I was in a great mood, I'm killing every deal, it's going to be different than tomorrow that maybe my I stub my toe on the bed when I wake up, the hot water, the hot water heater just went out. It's 20 degrees outside. My AC my furnace just went out.
You're pissed off.
That disc is going to be a whole lot different.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, it's a good framework though, for sure. And like you're saying, don't hire or fire based off them, but it is a good framework to utilize in that process.
Use your gut. I mean, there's times you're sitting across from somebody like, you know what? If you're in my house, I'd buy from you.
Yeah, you can feel it, right? You can feel it. Okay, so top rep, right? So you guys are doing some amazing things with top rep, but now let's say that someone's looking to find this top rep, right? We kind of talked about what to look for, but what about like a top rep, like that A+ player, that top rep? What are some ways to try to find them?
So you can go to LinkedIn, and I don't like to say poach, but LinkedIn is a great source. If you it's called Sales Navigator, and many times I will just peruse whether it be phone or cell phone companies. And you can type in the name of these companies, whether maybe you're going to throw in there, what is it, Cricket Wireless or whatever. And it shows you all their local sales reps, and you can friend them. You can start liking their posts, whatever you do. Don't just jump into their InMail and start beating them up. Start liking their posts, start, putting comments out. This is going to be a several month process. And then you attack them. Say, hey man, they've seen that you've liked and commented. All of a sudden you jump in there and say, hey, I have seen and I've really loved a lot of your content. I'd love to have a quick conversation. I'm not here to sell you anything. And because your job is to get them on the phone. Your job is to sell them on a phone call, not sell them on a job. So that's one way of, I also like
I like that.
Landscaping companies and the door-to-door companies, the security companies. I love door-to-door companies. I nail them down.
Yeah.
The other one is recruiters.
Yeah.
Now, if there is a recruiter that wants to charge you, and again, I might ruffle some feathers here. If there's a recruiter that wants to charge you based on first year earnings, just hang up the phone immediately. They're not any good. The only people you should ever pay for that using that type of methodology are executives. You know, if you're going to hire an executive and it's that specialized of a skill and performance. However, you know, you can get away with a great recruiter for a couple $1,000s a month. I'm going to spend more than that going through Indeed. And, you know, they won't guarantee a great hire, but they will guarantee a certain number of people, and they will vet most of them.
So for the sales guys, you're actually, it's a kind of like a standard pay that you pay each month, basically, and that's how it's structured in terms of compensation for the recruiter?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Cool. All right. Well, okay. So now let's start talking about once we find these people. Maybe you nurtured them on LinkedIn, right? And eventually we made that approach, got a phone call with them and found a great salesperson, maybe utilize a recruiter. Now we got the person. Let's say once you find the right person, you know, what components make up a successful sales training platform program?
So first of all, they need to agree to the understanding that what needs to happen to be successful. There has to be that agreement. Salespeople don't just go along to get along. Good salespeople don't. So there has to be that agreement. They have to understand what's expected of them. You know, you have the agenda. When you're going to train somebody, make sure that you have an agenda, not just on, you know, today we're going to cover this, but there's an actual agenda of what is going to be trained on and tested on. That comes to the next thing, are expectations and exams. You know, making sure that there are exams at the end of each day, and they have to pass that exam with an 80% to even move on. So now I want you to understand that there is no trick questions in those exams. It's quite simply, were you listening? You know, I'm not going to throw a question in there about something we never talked about. You know, if I did, I might throw in some bonus questions and let them know that those bonus questions, we didn't cover that, but I'd just like to see what your answers are, but they are not graded based on those. Okay. And so that lets me know, and it lets the trainer know that they know what they're doing, at least, you know, book smart. As far as role playing is the most important. Role play. Nobody likes to role play. I love
nobody likes to role play, Chuck. Nobody likes it.
I do so much of it, whether I'm on stage doing it or in a classroom doing it. So I absolutely love to role play.
How do you get over that? I mean, because is it just get your butt up and do it, basically?
It really is. It's the hardest thing to do is to sit there and role play in front of your peers, because they all know
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Say it in front of your peers, I think, makes them even more nervous.
Yeah.
Which is good practice, though. You know what I mean? That's the best way to do it.
I'll tell you, try to role play in front of a bunch of other sales trainers. They're all very critical. They're always there to write down anything you say. So yeah.
Hey, if you want to get better, though, you got to do it. You got to do it.
That's exactly right. The next thing is you have to videotape. So when they start to learn it, you feel they have it down, you know, have them role play with you and put the video camera right behind you facing them so that they can see, or the video can see everything that they're doing, the facial expressions. They can detect all the voice inflection, what's being talked about on the table, whether maybe it's a contract, maybe it's the iPad, whatever. Yeah. But you're always wanting to video, and you have to put that video up on a private YouTube channel or something where they can watch it when they're at home. They can critique themselves, and so that they understand what they look like. There's many times when they'll they think they're spot on. I
Right.
do this in retraining when someone is really struggling. I'll put them on video, I'll send it, and every time they're like, it wasn't until I saw that video to realize what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah. So
Uh,
look, I mean, think about game film, right? In sports, right? Having game film to go look back at and critique yourself. In business, we don't do that enough. We don't look at the game film enough.
that's right. That's right.
Completely agree with that, man. So okay, so now how does your approach, knocking doors change in the retail environment compared to insurance?
So retail is a lot tougher.
Much tougher.
Yeah, sales guys don't knock doors in retail, and nor do you want them to, unless maybe they're doing some clover leafing.
Okay.
But as far as a sales rep in retail, it's a complete waste of time because
Really?
you're going to knock, 5 times the doors than a typical insurance, just to get one person to say that, or even to listen to you, or maybe even just answer the door. So it's really, really tough to get people to answer the door, first of all. But again, you're looking for a special individual that doesn't mind hearing no, because they're going to hear no a lot more than a canvasser that's canvassing for a storm.
So in retail, though, you wouldn't even waste your time with knocking doors, basically.
Not for a sales rep. Now we have canvas crews.
Right.
We have a canvas crew in Cincinnati. We've got one in Columbus ourselves, and it's our top lead source. Now our sales guys like to complain about them, but when we pull up all the numbers of all the lead sources, that the canvassing is always on top. It's always
really
#1. Even though the sales guys hate hearing, well, I just couldn't hear, tell that little lady or whatever, that I couldn't tell her no, and because some of the canvassers happen to be kind of cute, so they'll answer the door. And I'm just telling you, that's how it works many times, is the females will get more leads than the guys because it's a lot easier to answer your door for a female than it is for a guy.
Yeah, no, that makes sense for sure. So then the salespeople, what is their role? Is it just pretty much presenting then, or is it, they're getting the lead and they're presenting, and that's pretty much all it is?
It's just another lead at that point. Yeah.
Gotcha. Sounds good.
What's nice about that lead is that you don't have any competition.
Right.
Not like you have 3 other people coming in. So it's still not the easiest to close because they weren't thinking about getting windows, siding, roofing done at that moment.
And you made them think of it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's still a battle when you get in the house.
So, okay. So what about now? Let's say that we are in that house. Maybe it was lead that you guys generated online through the website, whatever it might be, right? What aspects should be a retail salesperson focus on during that a presentation to an homeowner? And how long do you think on average should that presentation be?
So the appointment itself should last about 60 to 90 minutes for retail. I know with insurance it's cut up, but with retail it should be about 60 to 90 minutes. The product presentation. So we do a thing called Engage. We use Engage. I think you know a lot about it as well.
Oh yeah, great people.
Yeah, and so we'll use Engage, and we'll also present the product at the exact same time. So when I'm talking about the window, I've got a window standing up here. Same thing as if I'm talking about the underlayment, I'm showing the underlayment, putting in their hands at the same time. So when we look at, when the customer asks questions, when people say, what's the difference between 60 to 90 minutes? Most of the time it's the customer.
Yeah. Gotcha. So the customer should be speaking majority of the time, actually.
Yes.
Gotcha.
They should be. And that's part of the scripts that we use. Certain questions that are asked throughout the process, just to keep the homeowner talking.
Yep. Gotcha. And then, okay, so what about objections, right? So we're looking at the most common objections in the retail roofing sales space that you're seeing. What are we looking at, and how do you overcome these?
The most common are the typical, I need to think about it, the price is too much. I need to get 3 estimates, which is the biggest one in the industry right now. What do
you think of that one? I need to get 3 estimates. Hey, Chuck, man, Chuck, you're great, and I liked it, but you know the game, right? You know how it works. I got to look at my options. I need 3 estimates.
Man, I totally understand. And when you go and you get those 3 estimates, when do you think that you'll have all 3 estimates?
Maybe next week or so.
Okay, great. When you get
Mm,
all 3 of those estimates, let's say it's the next 7 to 10 days, you have them all, you're going to put them all on the table, and
yeah.
you're going to put them all next to each other. What criteria are you going to use to pick which home improvement company to use?
I mean, I'm going to be looking at reviews. I'll be looking at, price, and stuff like that. I mean, any references would be great. That's pretty much it, I guess.
Okay, great. So the value, the company and the materials, am I getting that right?
I would say that's right. Yeah.
Okay, great. And if you felt like American WeatherTech had that value that you're looking for, could you see yourself doing business with American WeatherTech at that time?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, great. And let's look at, is there anything that someone would have to show you that would enable you to go with somebody else over top of us?
I mean, I guess the really just comes down to it's a big purchase. You know what I mean? It's a big purchase. It's pretty expensive. So it's like I want to make sure I got the warranty, and I want to make sure that like I can rely on you guys, and then ideally I'm not getting ripped off.
Oh, I totally understand that. Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. You know, as you already know, we already went through the price and value guarantee. I mean, we're going to put our money where our mouth is. And I'm going to tell you that we're the only company that's going to come in here that is truly going to put their money where their mouth is with that price and value guarantee. And just like we had already mentioned, if you can find somebody that does exactly what we do and exactly how we're going to do it, and they can do it for less than what I'm going to show you, that we'll go ahead and refund the difference. Plus, we're going to give you $100. Remember me covering that?
Okay. I mean, that sounds pretty good.
I mean, I'm guessing that
Yeah, that sounds
you
pretty good.
understand that. I mean, if we're willing to put our money where our mouth is, that we have already done the research on all the companies that are going to come out here, right?
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, I guess yeah. You know what? Let's give it a go. You closed me, Chuck. You closed me. I had to get a little role play in. I got a little role
I'm
play in.
telling you, man, it's and that's one of the hardest. When we have the closing cards or the pivot points, these
Yeah.
things right here, all of these
Yeah.
things are in these things, and when a lot of the companies will buy these closing cards or these pivot points,
Yeah.
they see that I need to think about it. I need to get 3 estimates. Your price is too much. I need to talk to my son or daughter.
Yeah.
My brother's in the business. All of those, it's all there.
That's good practice right there, though. So those are closing cards.
Yeah. So when you come out to Top Rep, every
Hmm.
business gets a set of them. So I
Okay.
mean, it has the objection on the front. It gives a little
Yeah.
hint at the bottom, but yet on the back gives the answer. So it's just like when you
Ah.
had your parents when you were learning your times tables.
Oh, that's
Your
cool.
wife, your girlfriend can sit there and pull one up. But also inside of sales meetings, these things are a lot of fun.
Oh, I bet. I bet. No, that's cool. Great way to kind of stimulate that role play too. Um, okay, so one thing I want to talk about because I feel like something that I've been talking about with other people in the industry too, just in general, is it's not about just the closing the deal. It's really about setting the table in the front end, so that way that the prospect, the homeowner, isn't really controlling the conversation. What can you do to kind of set the expectations and have more control throughout that sales process?
First of all, you need to get as much information out of them as you can.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it is the upfront survey. You're
Mm.
going to we there are surveys that we do, then we like to call it the Help Me Sell Me survey, and
Okay.
all it is are questions based on the customer's buying habits, but also there are questions based on your typical objections that are going to happen because once the price is given, game's over. The buyers are liars.
Yeah.
So if you've ever met a negotiator that tells the truth all the time, he's not a real good negotiator. It's like the Jim Carrey movie.
Yeah.
So once price is given, buyers are liars. They're going to tell you anything they can to get you out of the house. And
Mhm.
so with that, we use the survey for that. The other thing is price conditioning. And this is where most people in our industry fall on their face because they
Yeah.
don't understand what price conditioning is and how to use that.
Yeah.
Remember that the homeowner, especially now with COVID and the 1,500 price increases that we've had.
Oh my
over the last
gosh,
2
right?
years. I mean, they are still thinking what the prices were back in 2019. It's per lot.
Yeah, exactly.
And so
The
things have
price
gotten
can
crazy.
sting. The price can sting a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So, I figured to kind of close this thing out, we'll kind of go through some of the closing techniques, right? I know you have some signature ones I want to talk about, but before I figure, hey, if people want to get involved, get a hold of you or get involved with Top Rep, what's the best way to do so?
The easiest way to get a hold of us is just to go to topreptraining.com. The new website's coming soon, but still gives you all the information you need. And they can always get a hold of me at Thokey, Thokey at gmail.com. They can, at Facebook is probably the easiest. And that's where most people get a hold of me, is through Facebook and LinkedIn.
You know how it is. We're all on Facebook. So
That's
feel free
right.
to hit them up that way too. So Chuck, let's go through these. I know you got, about four, I think it's about 4 different closing techniques you really like to talk about. Do you mind sharing some of those?
Yeah. So the first one is what I like to call the goodnight kiss close.
Ooh,
I
the good
got
night
this.
kiss. All right.
Yeah.
Guys could probably learn a thing or two here, probably.
Well, you remember back in college where, you would go and pick up a girl for the first time. Maybe you're picking them up from the parents' house.
Yeah.
And then you bring them back, and, how would you solidify a goodnight kiss? And when I'm in a room with a bunch of people, there's always somebody that says, I just go for it. And I said, well, that's assault, and but really, when it comes down to it, there's nothing you can do at that very moment. It's what you did throughout the entire date. Did you open her doors? Did you pay for dinner? Did you pay for the movie? Did you pay for whatever? Did you treat her like a woman? I mean, it's
so true.
That's why, the sales in general is just like dating.
Exactly. Did you make her want to kiss you? When the moment came, did you make her want to kiss you? Basically,
that's absolutely right.
All right, so guys, we learned a thing or two here. All right, step up your
the
game.
next thing is a price and value guarantee, and what this is, and this isn't new either, but most people are scared of this. And I'm almost scared of doing business with people that are scared of using a price and value guarantee, because to me, if they can't guarantee their price and their value, then they almost have to question their business ethics. If you think that there's someone else in the industry that can beat you on value or beat you on price because of the value, I mean, what are you doing? You really need to go back to the table. So what a price and value guarantee is letting the homeowner know, and this is where you shut down your shoppers. I mean, I will, when I'm delivering this to a homeowner, I'm going to let them know, like, hey, when I first got here, you guys really impressed me. You guys were smart shoppers. Sometimes I have to hold my laughter, but when I tell them that they're smart shoppers, and they'll kind of look at me like, yeah, we know we want to shop. Great. This is for you. And then we'll go through the whole process of the fact that, our owner wanted to change the way that people bought home improvement. He wanted to bring peace of mind to the home improvement buying process. Yeah. And so to do that, he's going to guarantee the price and the value. So if you can find somebody, if you decide that this is exactly what you need while you're here, and you want to take advantage of all the discounts and incentives that we have, that we're the only company in the area that allows you to continue to shop us out for the next 30 days. And if you can find somebody over the next 30 days that does exactly what we do, exactly how we do it, and they can do it for less, then we will refund you the difference. Plus, we'll give you $100 for the fact that you went out and spent your time searching for this company.
That sounds like a deal closer.
Yeah,
that sounds like a deal closer right there. I like that one a lot.
It really is. And people will ask, are like, well, how many people are going to come back to me? I've been doing this 20 years. I've had 2 people, and I still have given them probably at most $100.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's never apples to apples. If you do your material that you're selling, If you put that into a process or into a system correctly, there's nobody there. There is no apples to apples.
No. It might cost you what, a couple $100 you said over this many years of doing it. Think about how much money it's made you.
Right. Right.
All right. So what we got next?
So we have a marketing agreement,
Mm-hmm.
and letting people know that the most or the biggest expense that you have is marketing, and that they can, if they're willing to help us out through marketing efforts, that we're willing to help them out. It's not a race to the bottom at that point. We're willing to give them a discount on their product if they're willing to do 4 things for us. Maybe it's just taking before and after pictures. It's putting a yard sign out there, but it has to be described in a certain way. We're going to let them know, hey, we'd like to take before and after pictures. We use them in all of our marketing and all of our training. Again, we'd also like to put billboards all over town, but it's so expensive. So what we'd like to do is put billboards all over your neighborhood, starting with your house. When you pass somebody that just says they got brand new windows, I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to look at the house to look at the new windows. And so that's the best branding we could ever have, when they look like, well, you know what? Those are nice windows, honey. We need to give them a call. Going into testimonials and other things that we would discuss when putting together a marketing agreement. But you have to hold people to that marketing agreement. It's not just a discount program to try and close a deal. If someone's going to sign that, then hold them to those reviews, hold them to that yard sign.
Yep. No, I love that. All right. So I think we got one more.
Yeah. So we'll have the service member and first responder discounts. Okay. Every company should have them. What I like most about this is you can be the most expensive, but you are the only one that we're going to give a first responder. Most people have the service member discount, but these are people that are truly excited and passionate about what they do, the fact that they're saving lives every day. And so they take great pride in that. And so when we're going to give them that discount, we're going to give them that consideration, even though we may be a little more expensive than a lot of the other folks in town. They're going to go with us because we gave them that. We gave them that respect.
Now, all right, guys. Chuck, first off, Chuck, thank you so much for taking the time to teach these different techniques and stuff like that to really help companies. But guys, it's the beginning of the new year, right? You need to be investing back into your company and your people, right? There has been, contractors across the country who have been utilizing, Top Rep and have had a significant impact of their sales team success. So make the jump, right? Take the investment, make a little bit of a trip about it. If you're not in that area, it'll be well worth your time and money. So Chuck, thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you, Nick. This was fun.